Today, we're going to break down the pros and the cons of hiring someone like me, a public adjuster. And we're going to get right into it right now in 3, 2, 1. What's up, advocates, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. I am your host, a commercial claims advocate, Vince Perri, and I am owner and CEO of Elite Resolutions, a public adjusting firm. And it may seem a little weird, but I'm not only going to tell you the pros of hiring someone like us at Elite Resolutions, a public adjusting firm, of hiring a public adjuster, but I'm also going to tell you some of the cons, some of the things that I hear from roofing contractors and from policyholders as to why it's actually not beneficial sometimes, and it could actually be detrimental to your insurance claim when you hire a public adjuster. I know, it sounds weird, right? 14 years I've been a public adjuster, and I could probably honestly give you a lot more than what I'm giving you in pros, but to be fair, I'm going to give you some cons as well, because sometimes it might not be right to hire a public adjuster, but most of the times it is. Listen up, advocates. Whether you're a public adjuster, contractor, or an attorney, if you have a client that has suffered any kind of catastrophic loss, whether that be by fire or storm or just any catastrophic loss that requires your client to have to move out and incur ALE and loss of use coverage, you need to think about looking at Black Diamond Services. This is an incredible idea for a service that I think is extremely valuable, and I've actually personally used for my clients myself. Basically, what they do is they provide all of the necessary money that is needed to be done for the homeowner to go and move to another place, whether that be a hotel or another home or whatever it is. They basically bill through their insurance policy's loss of use coverage, and basically they provide financial assistance so that the insured never has to incur any out-of-pocket expenses. It's an amazing service. I love the people at Black Diamond Services, especially Millie Varela. If you just contact her and contact Black Diamond Services, I'm telling you, they're going to take care of your clients like you wouldn't believe. I personally have a client who suffered a fire damage and had to use their ALE coverage, and all we did was refer them to Black Diamond. Our clients did not have to come out of pocket a single penny. Black Diamond provided all of the financial money, and they provided the actual location for the homeowner to stay. Amazing service. Contact Black Diamond Services today so you could find out more information for yourself. But I want to get to the pros first, right? We got to get to the pros because there is a laundry list of good reasons. But like I said, stay tuned and I will get to some of the cons. So one of the pros, and I think probably the biggest one, is that a public adjuster is looking out for your best interests. We are looking out for you and you only. It's literally by law. We have to look out for your best interest. Our statutes, our laws, the law in almost every state and all the statutes literally state that you have to look out for the policyholder's best interest. We cannot look out for anybody else. Ultimately, we're paid by the policyholder, so I want to make sure that I do a good job. But my role, my license as a public adjuster is to look out for your best interest, for the policyholder, for the homeowner, to make sure that you are taken care of from A to Z, because if I'm going to grow a business like this, I have to look out for you. So that by far is the number one pro that I can think of. Another one is that we handle the claims process from A to Z so that you don't have to. It's a service that is provided to you to make sure that we are handling everything from filing the claim to attending the inspections to putting estimates together to negotiating on your behalf to following up with the insurance company as often as we can. We handle all that stuff for you. And, obviously we know the policy. We hopefully you choose somebody who is experienced, who knows how to handle it, how to deal with the insurance company, how to really craft a claim and present it accordingly. Because these are things that you don't know. But a public adjuster knows how to do this. An experienced public adjuster knows how to do this and can take away that process from A to Z so that you don't have to do it. The next thing is, more than likely, I can't say this as a guarantee, but more than likely, we will get you a higher settlement. The reason is because we're going to put an estimate together. We know what's covered. We know what's not covered. We know that if it's continuous flooring throughout the house, well, the insurance company has to put you back to pre-loss conditions, which was continuous flooring throughout the house. So if the insurance company on the front end decides to only pay for a portion of that floor, we know that the whole thing is included. Also, we usually have really good referral partners. We work side by side with a lot of contractors, and a lot of contractors will come in and say, well, if you replace the roof, you have to replace the baseboards. If you replace the baseboards, you have to replace the drywall. If you replace the drywall, you have to texture and paint. Insurance company a lot of times aren't going to include all those line items. Well, we will include it, and we will use that to basically try to negotiate and settle your claim, because during the construction process, that has to be done. Also, if a claim gets denied for something like wear and tear, or for something like pre-existing damage, or something that's been happening over time, if you're telling us that it is indeed a sudden and accidental event, well, we're going to argue that with the insurance company. We're going to use policy language on your behalf, and what would have been a claim that would have paid you $0 now maybe is paying you $20, $30, $40, $50, or $100,000. So ultimately, you're going to get more. And the last reason why you're going to get a higher settlement is because when the insurance company does decide to make a payment and it's not where it is, the public adjuster knows how to come in on the back end. And we use different versions of alternative dispute resolution processes. I know, using big words, but they're basically ways that we could dispute whatever it is that they pay. On another video, we have top 10 mistakes that homeowners make. And one of those mistakes is accepting the first offer from the insurance company. So a lot of times the policyholder will accept the first offer from the insurance company. If you have a public adjuster, more often than not, the public adjuster will not accept that first offer and will counter offer with evidence, with an estimate, to make sure that you get more money. So 9.5 times out of 10, hiring a public adjuster will ultimately end you with a higher settlement on your insurance claim. The next thing is, honestly, if you hire a public adjuster first, you have a better chance of avoiding litigation. Or if you do get a payment on the claim, instead of going to a lawyer, instead of fighting it in litigation, you could actually try the route of a public adjuster. Even if your claim gets denied and you think you were wrongfully denied, instead of going straight to a lawyer, you could try hiring a public adjuster first. As most of you know, now I work with a lot of lawyers because we need them from time to time. But we all know that once it's in the litigation process, it could drag out for a very long time. It could drag out for months and even years. Hiring a public adjuster, that's not going to happen. Frankly, we don't get paid until you get paid. So it's in our best interest, which is actually the next thing. It's in our best interest to try to resolve the claim as soon as possible, because there's no money that you have to pay us up front, which is something else I was going to say. So, it avoids litigation, going to a lawyer and having to deal with all that. A public adjuster could just get right down to the point and try to get you the money within just a couple of months. Faster resolution, right? I don't get paid until you get paid. So it is in my best interest to try to settle your claim as soon as possible, because you are going to be writing me, a public adjuster, a check, but I can't get a check until you actually get paid. So I'm trying to get it done fast. I'm trying to follow up with the insurance company as soon as possible. I'm trying to put pressure on the insurance company as much as I can. I'm trying to provide them with all the information that they need as soon as I can. And as soon as they have all the information and as soon as they inspect the property, I'm already going to put pressure on them and say, hey, let's go. You've inspected the property and we provided you with everything. What else do you need? If you don't need anything else, insurance company, you need to pay this claim immediately. And then I'll send that letter again the next week. And then I'll send that letter again the next week. And then I'll send that letter again the next week, so that, hey, let's go. Let's not drag this out. We need to keep this thing moving. So public adjusters, when you have one, you're going to get your claim settled much faster than without one. And then, of course, no out-of-pocket expenses. No out-of-pocket expenses is actually pretty nice. We don't get paid until you get paid. That is just the fact of the matter, okay? So whatever it is, whatever you get, we end up getting a percentage of that, and no out-of-pocket. So if we get you zero, then you don't have to pay us anything, which leads me to another benefit, is that we will advise you to not even file a claim, because if it's not worth it for us as a public adjuster, then it probably isn't worth it for you either if it's a small claim. But I've also advised people to just take care of the claim process themselves sometimes, because again, it does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of time on the back end that people don't realize. And if it's a very small claim, which is, I'm going to get to one of the cons, it may not be worth it for the public adjuster. So you could just go handle it yourself. So the point is no out-of-pocket expenses is kind of nice. So let's get to the cons, right? I'm sure I have other public adjusters watching, which public adjuster is a great video that you could send to your policyholders. One of the cons, I would say, is the fact that we do take a percentage of your claim. Now, we're trying to work out a way. We're trying to see if we could figure this out, if we can actually get a percentage, if we can get our percentage paid in addition. But for the most part, the public adjuster does get a percentage from the claim. So if the insurance company is paying you for what it actually costs to do the build back, and now we're taking 10 to 20% off of that, well, then that's not going to be good, right? You're going to be now 10 or 20% less than what you would have gotten if you would have just done it by yourself. With that said, we end up getting you a higher settlement offer anyway. So our fee is almost paid. And I think the number for me, for our claims, it's anywhere between 50 to 100%. We get more than if you were to go about it by yourself, because people will come to us with claims and we always end up getting about 50 to 100% more. So that covers your 10 or 20% right there. The other thing that I would like to say is that when you get service at a restaurant and you are served by the waiter, upon completion of your meal and you getting the bill, how much do you tip your waiter? 20%. So it's worth it, right, for the service that you're getting for everything that we're doing. But ultimately, that I would say is one of the biggest complaints that we hear from clients, is that they're concerned that the percentage they have to pay the public adjuster is going to affect the amount of money that they have for the repairs. But understand, we do usually get higher settlements. Not all PAs are the same. Not all public adjusters are the same, right? So we've got public adjusters who are very good, very experienced, but there is, of course, like in any industry, we got your bad apples. You've got public adjusters who aren't really on top of it. They don't have a very good process written down. They're not very good at being accessible and dependable when you have to call them and ask a question, and they may tend to just drop the ball on things. So make sure before hiring a public adjuster, you take a look at those Google reviews. You speak to them on the phone and ask them, speak to 2 or 3 or 4. Which one do you have the best rapport with? Which one do you feel most comfortable with, to make sure that you get one of the good public adjusters? There's a lot of good public adjusters. We do meetups where we get public adjusters together from all over the country, and I meet the best of the best. And let me tell you, there's a lot of good ones. You're better off at least interviewing a few before you just go ahead and decide on one. Honestly, this is going to be a weird one that some public adjusters aren't going to like, but you know, sometimes when a public adjuster gets involved, it could create some animosity with the insurance company. You know, it's just a fact. You know, they already know that by putting on a public adjuster, they're going to have to really step up their game, the insurance company, and they are probably going to have to end up paying a lot more money on the insurance claim when a public adjuster is involved. I believe about 80 to 90% of claims all over the country have no representation whatsoever. So the insurance company is happy when that happens, because they're paying their undisputed low ball amount that they're usually paying. When a public adjuster comes on, it's like now they get on defense and they want to start fighting a lot of times. So it can create a little bit of animosity. But I will tell you, again, 14 years of experience of doing this, it ends up working out in your favor. And also, when you're doing the interview process, make sure that you have somebody who could get along with the other side. It was always my goal I always say it's better to just get along with the other side ultimately, because I don't want that animosity. I want us to work together for you, the homeowner, to make sure that we get you the top dollar. But that is sometimes of a con. And also the last one, as I was saying earlier, is some public adjusters aren't going to take the smaller claims, right? They're only going to look for large losses, or they're going to just have a limit of what they think the claim is worth, and that's what they're going to sign. And the reason for that is it does take a lot of work. So before you think about taking on an insurance claim yourself, think about the amount of work it's going to take on the back end of making sure you have an estimate together, taking all the photos, putting all your documentation in a file, following up with the insurance company, being put on hold, and having to leave voicemails and note-taking all the conversations. We do all that as public adjusters. So because of all the work that goes on, if it's a very small claim, we may not take it. We may not be interested in taking it because it may be only worth a few $100s after our fee, or maybe less than $1,000. And for the work that goes into it, it really may not be worth it. So that it could be a con where if you have a smaller claim, you may not be able to find a public adjuster that will represent you. That's really all I could think of with the cons. I mean, we've got your pros, you've got your cons. Like in anything, guys, you have a pro and con of hiring a realtor. You have a pro and con of hiring an accountant, because you could do your own accounting in TurboTax. It's really up to you as to what you want to do. My best advice to you is that if it's an industry like insurance that you do not know much about and you're a little bit confused about it, hire some representation. You need to have somebody on your side, because if the other thing is, besides the fact that you don't know too much about it, I need to also make you understand that the insurance company is a business like anything else. And I'm not saying that the insurance company is bad people. I'm just trying to tell you that it is a business, and one of their largest expenses that the insurance company has, well, 2 of their largest expenses is employee payroll and claim payouts. Those are their 2 largest expenses. So if claim payouts are one of their largest expenses, like any other business owner, they're going to try to cut down on those expenses as much as possible. So if they can get away with just paying you for 1 coat of paint instead of 2, to detach and reset a baseboard instead of replace it, or if they have arguments to say, well, this roof is old so it doesn't have to be replaced, they're going to look for those arguments to try to get away with paying. By hiring a professional, an expert in claims that could provide the arguments and the data and the facts to combat all of those things, trust me when I tell you, you're always going to win by hiring somebody with experience and who's there looking out for your best interest and representing you to the end. That's my opinion on it. But then again, I am a public adjuster, but that's what it is. So there are your pros. There are your cons. Again, my name is Vince Perri. Thank you so much for watching. I am the commercial claims advocate. My company is Elite Resolutions. You can go on eliteresolutions.com for more videos, more tips, more advice for you on your insurance claim to make sure that you're getting the best value for your claim. And I'm also the commercial claims advocate on commercialclaimsadvocate.com. We've got a ton of stuff for actually public adjusters. So if you're interested in our industry, go check out commercialclaimsadvocate.com. We've got this book for sale. We've got online courses. We've got live courses, and we've got really cool industry meetups that I think would be very beneficial. That is very beneficial for our industry to make sure that we are leveling up the industry. And that's it, guys. My name is Vince Perri. Follow me on social media. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon and make sure that you follow, because every single week we're going to have a new video just for you. Thank you very much, guys. Good night.